Welcome to Bikers and Backroads, a podcast about all things Harley Davidson. We're your hosts, Jason and the Big Z, so sit back and join us as we go into this week's episode of Bikers and Backroads. What's up, everybody? Thanks for downloading the most recent episode of the Bikers and Backroads podcast. You found us here on our YouTube channel, but we're also on every audio platform that you download your podcast to. We're on Apple iTunes and Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon. We're also at Podbean. You can find us on Twitter at BNB_pod. We're also on Instagram, and we're also on TikTok at Bikers and Backroads. Welcome. We're here for another episode. We're getting closer to Christmas. We're going to have a few things to talk about for the guys who are probably buying presents for themselves in the $1,000 category. But we're going to quickly back up. We had a great suggestion this week, something I missed, and I usually peruse all these sales and look for things as far as gear and tech. Had to reach out from a follower, and he was pointing out that the Alpine Stars Tech Air 5 inflatable safety vest is on sale for under $500. Alpine Stars is introducing a new model this year. That'll be their flagship, so the previous year model will go down in price as always. So if you're looking for a great piece of safety gear, it's basically like an airbag for motorcycle riders. It's designed to cushion you in a fall. But Alpine Stars, great quality stuff. They've been around forever. The Tech Air 5, that when they first brought out the Tech Air, it kind of got the industry a little bit by surprise that people were doing this. Now other companies offer these type of devices that, again, act almost like airbags to protect you if you go down. Again, you should be gearing up and dressing and preparing yourself. They say you gear up for the slide, not the ride, right? In case you go down, you want to have as much protective gear on as you can. And I promise you, we're going to bring you some gear, things that we like. We're going to get out and start looking at gear because I'm challenging both of us to ride in some better gear. We've already picked up a few things. We've discussed how we're going to change our footwear options just because of some weirdness. But, I mean, you're going to do what you do. Be who you are. Ride how you're comfortable. But, again, the biggest thing is to be prepared for the slide. If you go down, you don't want to be sitting in the hospital wishing you would have put on that extra layer. When you're laying there with a medical bill, that $100 riding shirt doesn't seem like it would have been a waste of money. But the Tech Air 5 from Alpine Stars, again, we thank you for these comments. This is something I had missed. These have always been above that $500 range, but it backs up to our gifts under $500 and hits a safety point. What's up, Big Z? I kind of dominated that first section, but
it's all good. Been a crazy week, crazy weather here in certain parts of the state of beautiful West Virginia. So we've been struggling with that, fighting that, but hey, we're here now. We're happy for it.
We're recording this on Saturday. We usually post on Friday, but this is the first time we've had to sit down together. It has been a little nuts for Z in his work week, but this is the first time. So we put out a post, letting you guys know that we weren't going anywhere. We're just going to post a little late. You should be seeing this on Sunday. But yeah, this is our weekly podcast. We have a little bit to talk about, and we're just going to pick the brain of the younger rider a little bit today. And we're just going to have an open discussion for our last segment, which will be all just about desires from the motor company as far as brand loyalty things and what we would like to see coming forward with this new CEO and some buzz we've heard about some return to positions of influence within the motor company of some people that probably have been pushed to the side for long enough. And I'm going to encourage you guys, if you're not listening, jump on over to Rolling Throttle. He's doing weekly update videos the next couple of weeks as he's preparing for the January 14th launch of the new bikes. Drew and Jake have insider information that most of us don't have. And he'll even tell you he doesn't have it all. But he also is a good judge of the room. He's been in this industry for a long time. And this week's episode, he mentioned some things, and I had seen that in a couple other things. So we're going to get into that in our last segment. But we're going to go for our episode today, we're going to go with topic number 1 being a mod coming up, and I'm going to let Xander talk about it because we're going to try to head out of here today and lock this piece down.
Yeah. So the mod of the week for this one is going to be a cam chest and your oil pump kit. Now, a lot of these can be bought separately depending on what company you go with, or you can buy a cam chest kit that's going to come with your oil pump and all the other things within it. But specifically, we're going to be looking at the cam chest and oil pump from Screaming Eagle. This has been recommended to me by people that know a lot more about engine work than I do. This is something I've been wanting to do to my bike for a long time. So hopefully this is going to be built up by in the spring and have it ready for riding season heavy in the summer. I've been wanting to do this literally ever since I bought my motorcycle. And so we're going to head today to go to try to pick up a cam chest and oil pump from Harley, because the Screaming Eagle kit is actually from my looks from Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. I was ready to get one. I was just going to pull the trigger and order it and have it here at the house, and it was going to be kind of my Christmas gift to myself. But they are a dealer exclusive. So if you ordered it online, you had to send it to a dealer, or you had to go to the dealership and have them order it if they didn't have it and pick it up there, or some dealers have them in stock. And, it depends on if you have a twin cam or the Milwaukee 8s. Your newer bikes, a lot more dealerships are going to have those. But for my twin cam, that was a little scarce. But we found one not too far from here, so we're going to go try to pick it up and or at least get it ordered. But, yeah, the Screaming Eagle cam chest and oil pump kit has been highly recommended to me. I am super pumped to see how it performs and give y'all more feedback on it later. But this is also just going to get another step to a build rolling, and I'm super excited to see it and super excited to share those steps with you guys as well.
We're going to bring all that to you. He's looking for the cam chest and the oil pump because he's planning on doing cams. No secret there. So we reached out to our buddy Drew at Rolling Throttle, and I'm like, give me some suggestions on cam chest and the oil pump. And his thing was, without knowing the crank run out, the Screaming Eagle oil pump and cam chest probably has the most play. It allows most or higher forgiveness tolerances, I guess you would say, for higher run out, which depends on what the health of your crank is and things like that. And I have seen that, and I know other companies, if you're not within 5,000ths of run out, they recommend you don't use those. Well, the Screaming Eagle is a little more forgiving than that. And everything we look online, people that build a lot of performance and horsepower out of motors stick with the Screaming Eagle oil pump and cam chest. They just say that's one of the things that has come over from the racing side, that they have really stepped up quality and things like that. So, again, we're going to bring you all this content as we build this bike, and we have some things going for my bike. And in some of our upcoming videos, if you don't know who we're talking about with Rolling Throttle, you're going to get to meet him because, or Drew. I don't know if Jake's going to come up from Florida and be wrenching on our bikes. We'd love to hang out with him too. But we pick Drew's brain a lot, and I'm not here just trying to tag along on his coattails, but we're about building a local motorcycle community in our area, and he's in our area, and we're going to help them. So reaching out to him, he's been nothing but great to us, and we love what they're doing over on their side and their show. And again, I'm going to send you over there to get merch, because now for segment number 2, we're going to talk about those gift ideas around $1,000 that, let's be honest, you're not asking anybody to buy you these. You're buying these for yourself because, again, around this Black Friday time, you are seeing them on deals, and I would suggest that now's a good time to buy that. Even if you can't install it right away, you can buy it, put it up on the shelf, get yourself some time to install it, spend some garage time, and get your bike rocking and rolling like we're planning on the Big Z's here can build and your stuff. I mean, we're not going to buy those parts and come home and tackle them tonight. We both have plans, but we're going to go start securing parts. And we're at the mercy of some people helping us with this build. So we're going to try to have everything done. And when we all have free time that lines up and things like that, we're going to just make this happen. But we're going to bring that to them as content for sure. We're going to try to capture going to purchase this today.
Yeah.
And looking around the dealership we stop in, seeing if there's any 26s that hit. And we're going to try to dump this on YouTube to get some extra content in the next couple of days. So for your $1,000 gift to yourself, what are you thinking, bro?
Well, $1,000 gifts are definitely something that's going to be a bit personal, and you're going to know exactly what you want. So as somebody who just went through this last year, a lot of this list was stuff I bought for myself last year. So kicking that off with the first item is we're going to go with an exhaust.
Yeah.
Now, these can be a lot higher than $1,000, but a lot of places we're running deals right now into Christmas or Black Friday and Cyber Monday is past us now if you're watching this video. So some of those deals might not be as good, or they're going to even be a deal now, but you can still find them. Some of the websites not buying straight from that company may still be having them cheaper, which is what I found.
Or if you're buying an exhaust and you don't get a price knocked off of the exhaust pipe, but it comes with your gaskets. And maybe you, rather than get a raw finish, you get a polished finish, and there's no charge for the polish upgrade.
Yeah.
Those type of things.
Yeah, that's stuff that I found last year personally. But an exhaust is going to be a great personal gift, like you to yourself or a wife to the husband or something such as that, because they are going to be an expensive upgrade, but they are one of the easiest ways to upgrade your bike, in my personal opinion, because it's not a lot to holding it in there. It's fairly simple, especially on a many of your Harley Davidsons, because it's right there. You know, we don't have fairings blocking everything. A few bolts, you're good to go. That's kind of one thing that I would suggest somebody that is not a huge on wrenching on their own bike, or it kind of can be a little bit overwhelming to them. This is something that would be great to try on. I mean, did you ever think we had any struggles with ours? No. We had to pick up some new tools that we never thought we'd ever have, and that was to get to O2 sensors. But hey, building a toolbox, that's awesome. So we're not upset about that. No. But an exhaust is going to be number one on our list, and it's probably going to be one of the best. There's hundreds out there, every look you could think of and every sound you could want. If you're looking into exhaust, I'm sure you've done your research. So, hey, that first gift that's going to be to yourself or real expensive for somebody, an exhaust for their motorcycle is a great idea.
I'm looking at exhaust. I think I'm going to go with a Sawicki. I'm going to reach out to the Rolling Throttle guys. They do Sawicki deals. They have it on their shop. I'm looking to do the mid pipe for my Dyna. And I'm hoping to catch that on a deal. But it's not something I'm afraid to wrench on mine. But the Sawicki, the Sawicki package comes with new gaskets, all new hardware, your brackets, all that stuff. So everything you would have to I got to order the gasket kit. That's like sometimes a $30 thing. You get your exhaust here and you're like, well, crap. I don't have my new gasket, so I got to wait a couple days and get my new gaskets in. All that comes in that Sawicki kit. And listen, you get that new exhaust for Christmas, you get to share that gift with your neighbors.
Exactly.
I mean, they're going to be loving it when you're flying out the neighborhood, or they're just going to love when you start your bike up, and they're going to be like, they got some new toys for Christmas. And hey, you get older, and your toys just get more expensive as guys. Yeah. Our next thing is something you bought yourself. Xander had like a $3,000 self budget last year. Big boy job, big boy toys. Hey, I loved it. I loved watching those boxes come in. My wife's like, do you know how much money he has spent on himself? I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. So we're going to talk about Thundermax.
Yeah.
Thundermax tuner. There are lots of people that love certain tuners. They do their own thing. Some people don't love Thundermax, you get on YouTube, you'll find different things about it. But I'm a Thundermax believer. We did your Thundermax. I thought it was going to be a little more overwhelming than it was. But I would jump on that Thundermax right now. You can probably get it for about $999.99, maybe $1,100 with some tax. You're probably getting that a little bit on a deal from like Rolling Throttle has it on their site, JP Cycles, Dennis, all those places. But a tuner, and you're going to know which one you want. Probably your biggest ones are probably you're looking at Dyno Jet and the Thundermax. Are you do you want to do a plug and play pigtail? You want to do an ECM swap? That's the difference of where you're going to do it, and making sure you have the capabilities on your computer of putting it in. We did ours all ourselves. Downloaded the tune, loaded the tune, put it in auto tune. Yours is running. That bike rips. It's running better. We talk to people that are better at tuning those, and they're like, oh, we can put a better tune on your bike. And now that we're going to do, you're planning on cams, we'll have a different tune.
It would have to be retuned anyway,
But it's there. That can last with you the life of the bike. Another thing, you look at getting a Thundermax, and you're running a modern bag. You go buy a new bagger and put a Thundermax on it. It's probably going to go with you. That's not going to change for probably a couple years. There's a lot of those, and that's an ECM. It plugs off of one and plugs onto the other. From my understandings, it's not like a license coming with like a Dyno Jet and you got to pay for it. You can plug and take those off and put them on different bikes, but you got to reach back out and buy a new license because they license to VINs. So that being said, I won't get into weeds on things I don't know everything about, but I would go Thundermax.
Tuners are one of those things that's going to be, that was a gift for myself as well. Definitely something that you're going to want. I wasn't even sold on which one I necessarily was going to get. It came down to what I could find for a better deal. And the Thundermax is, it's a bit more expensive than the other ones, but it is its own standalone ECM. And that's what I liked about it. It's going to be way, way more than the average rider will ever need because it can do a lot more and it self-tunes itself compared to other tuners on the market. Now, that's not saying the Dyno Jets and the Power Visions and stuff are bad. I mean, look at the Screaming Needle factory team. They are a Dyno Jet sponsor or sponsored by Dyno Jet. And, that's the factory team. Great products, everything. But we have the experience with Thundermax. We're going to recommend Thundermax, and that's just a great gift for yourself in that $1,000 range where you're going to be a little bit more or a little bit less depending on where you get it from and what deals are going on right now still.
So our last one we just kind of hit on was Xander's, and we're talking cam upgrades, cam chest kits, oil pumps. But buying that whole kit, there's kits right now out there on deals. S&S is running deals. Fueling's running deals. If that's a kit and a whole bundle and a package you want to do, but I mean those are $1,100 to $1,500. You can do a different brand of oil pump and cam chest, and then go to a different cam like an Andrews or a Woods or something like that, and piece together your own. Run S&S push rods. You can piece all those parts together. And maybe get in at a different thing. But, I mean, a lot of guys are just going to go buy the bundle. But that's where you need to know who to talk to about installing these. Because the way you ride should dictate what build you're going to. I mean, you're not just going to go from being a ride back and forth to work guy to needing a performance that makes you run a faster quarter mile. You know what I mean? That's not, you want to build your bike. And Xander's idea of building his bike is not to lose the reliability or the longevity of his motor. A lot of times when you build more horsepower, you got increased maintenance. And the more you put at it, parts break. And that's okay. I mean, that's some people live for that. I'm not the guy that wants to wrench all week to ride on Saturday. Wrench to fix broken things to ride on Saturday. I don't want to do that. I want my bike to run tip top, the best it can to the peak of its ability. And let's be honest, they don't come from the factory doing everything they can do, because you have emissions, you have multiple state things, you have safety regulations and things. But the ability to open up those bikes and do a little more, to design that to do a little more the way you want to ride, give you power where you need it, give you horsepower, give you some guys tune for fuel mileage.
Yeah, and still make it, service interval to service interval reliably.
Yep.
And that's kind of something that I wanted to touch on, and I don't think I even mentioned this to you, was with these mod list and this gift list, because they are for yourself and they are some more in-depth modifications. Like you said, you should buy parts that are going to help you for your ride. Now, exhaust, that's something more of, the styling, what you're wanting, and the sound you're wanting. There is performance upgrade to that mod. A tuner is a big one like that. That should be something you should really, take into thought of what style riding I am. That's kind of why I wanted the Thunder Max, because I knew it was more capable than anything I would be ever really into right now. Now, 2 years from now, if I still have my Dyna and I'm just decide, oh my gosh, I'm just going to build this thing as wild as it can be, my Thunder Max can hold on to it. But that's not the plan right now. These cam chest kits and your actual cam, the push rods you're doing, tappets, all the parts that are within it. Your push rods, adjustable versus not, yada yada. That's all, an argument, but they should be, especially when it comes to the cam you run, that's something you should be very focused on, putting on a specific cam for the style of riding you are. Me and Dad, personally, I'm not a pavement pounder on my Dyna, but I still like to ride back roads, twisty roads, fun. I'm, wanting to be higher RPMs for all, the power we can get coming out of a turn, playing around on some roads and having a good time. Maybe, taking a turn faster than what the, suggested sign says that. But I'm not trying to build this into a straight up race bike that's going to, rattle itself apart. Because I still might hop on the interstate and ride for an hour to go to a destination somewhere. So I'm not trying to get all of my performance up and then lose fuel mileage, because if you ride a Dyna, you already know that, they got a bigger tank than a Sportster, but they don't go crazy far. You don't have a lot of time between gas stops. But this is something that you should really know and build your bike towards that. Like you said, there's tunes out there for everything. You can find preloaded tunes and order them and then download them on your bike for fuel mileage. Then you've got your power upgrades that are made for that. You've got torque tunes, you've got horsepower tunes. That's just all depending on how you ride. And there is the same way with the cams. You've got high horsepower cams, you've got torque cams, you've got cruising cams, or you've got just hey, I want the sound, I want the best of all around. There's a cam out there for that. So do your research, know what you're riding, and find that for yourself.
Our third topic we're going to talk about is just a quick touch back to King of Baggers. I went looking today to see if there was any changes to other race teams. We talked last week or the week before last about Indian changing its team. A couple riders no longer with them. They're going to be teamed up with Vance and Hines as a title sponsor. You got Hayden Gillum coming off of Harley Davidson, Rocco Landers coming off of Harley Davidson, and they're joining the Indian team. Indians letting go of a couple riders that we didn't know that was going to happen. So we don't know if it's just going to be one Indian team or some things like that. But I went and looked if there was any updates on the factory Dyno Jet Harley Davidson team news, and nothing officially has come out, but it appears that everything is leading towards that team returning, with Kyle Wyman, James Rispoli, and Bradley Smith returning, as we know right now, to that team, their roles within that team. You got Kyle Wyman coming off his championship. James Rispoli's coming off a championship with the Hooligans, and he raced for Kyle Wyman's race team. So there is a good bond. It appears that inside that garage, that are great relationships being built. with all those team mechanics, those team engineers, they're sharing stuff. That's a factory team. They want to be building this. And this R&D is important, as we always say, because what you race on Saturday should be selling on Monday. And the more, I'm sure there's things coming out on these 26 bikes that may have been on those 23, 24 race bikes as upgrades. You hope that's the way this goes, because Harley's rich tradition was always racing helped build product development, what got in the hand of the consumer, and things of that nature. So we usually have 5 segments, but today we're going to have those 3 we just discussed, and we're going to basically do an interview kind of between me and Xander about what all the scuttle going on in Harley Davidson world. And again, I heard it from Drew, not stealing any information, but I've seen it on other websites. I saw Instagram photos and videos of the Davidsons addressing a dealership in Pennsylvania. And it appears that Harley Davidson has brought Bill Davidson and Karen Davidson back into not just the name and a cushy title. I'm sure they're both involved in the motor company and in ways that we don't understand. Karen Davidson had been over the clothing and motor clothes and all that stuff development. Bill Davidson had been VP of the museum, and now he's like the global director of merchandising or something, whatever his title is. But the word is that Harley Corporate has reached back out to the Davidsons to get them more involved. So what does that mean? I don't know. I haven't been in any private meetings, but I've seen this on different things. I'm not stealing anybody else's thunder. But clearly, the boardroom currently and the new CEO realize that some things have went off the rails. And my thought process is, if they've reached out to the Davidsons to make them more integral, that's kind of saying we need to get back to basics. Every home, everybody, every person has to have a reset from time to time. You just lose your focus. You kind of get caught up in what you're doing. It kind of gets bigger than you ever thought it would be, and you have to have a hard reset. Is the reach out to the Davidsons a reset? Is it who else knows their family history better than them?
Yeah.
Do they know that do they think that their grandparents and great grandparents that started this company that we love, are they looking at it through the eyes of this isn't exactly where they would have wanted it to go? We need to get back in touch. I mean, Karen Davidson and Bill Davidson grew up riding with Willie G to Sturgis, to Love Rides out in California. They went across country riding mile. They are riders. That is a riding family. They all had bikes. They have private collections of bikes that we've probably not seen. I mean, Bill Davidson talks in some interviews he's on about some of his personal bikes and things he still has, like his dad's personal bikes that he has developed them. They're one of ones, and people would be amazed at what he developed out of a Harley Davidson. But it just wouldn't be allowed or pushed to consumer, those things. And I want to know, as I grew up, I'm 49 years old. When I grew up, everybody riding a motorcycle wasn't always thought as cool. They were, oh, that guy rides a motorcycle. Not everybody was a rebel or an outlaw, but it wasn't like a lifestyle brand of a Harley Davidson t-shirt at the mall on somebody you know has never threw a leg over a motorcycle. Or somebody wearing Harley Davidson canvas shoes that look like Chuck Taylor's that has never probably been inside a Harley Davidson store. They bought those at a thrift shop that somebody turned in. That being said, I know what Harley Davidson was when I was growing up. I mean, I had cousins and uncles that rode Harley Davidsons. I mean, and they would pull up and my grandparents would be like, oh, there he come on that motorcycle. And I had I had a family member who is the nicest guy in the world. And as I've gotten older, I mean, great guy. But when I was young, he rode a motorcycle and he pulled up one time and revved it just to show kids what it sounded. I mean, he's a good guy. And it scared me. And I was scared of him. Like, I don't know why, but I just associated that noise with, I mean, he wore a leather jacket, and that's not anything like that, but he rode motorcycles and he loved his bike, and that just scared me. So for years, I was like a little leery, like he was badder than everybody else, or man, I don't know. And that was no disrespect. And like I said, he's a great guy, and we joke about this now because, I mean, this has been 30 plus years ago, but he's like, I remember when you were scared of me. And I mean, I tower over him in height now. Like, he's a smaller guy. But he's like, I just can't believe I remember you were scared of me because of that motorcycle. But even my friends' dads who rode motorcycles and stuff, I mean, it wasn't something that they were, they weren't riding around beating their chest over a brand. They loved riding a Harley Davidson. We're talking about those bikes. I mean, I'm a kid of the 70s, so you have the buyback in early 80s, and quality was a question under AMF, and Harley was busting their butt through the early 80s trying to get people to come back. And that lifestyle, people's like, you're going to buy a Harley Davidson, all it does is leak oil. You should buy one of these brands or something. That brand was almost bankrupt or whatever. But I know what that meant to me, and to see it come back and be a publicly traded company, whether that's your thing or not, should it still be family owned and not publicly traded? But to see the buyback and where they've come to today as far as a corporate thing, I know what that looked like in my childhood and my young adulthood. But you're 21 years old. You love motorcycles. You've loved motorcycles since you were little. You ride a Harley Davidson right now. With all the changes, the new CEO, that we're going back to roots, there's some changes coming. As a 21-year-old person who's going to be in motorcycling for a long time, I mean, that would be the plan. What would you like to see out of Harley Davidson, the motor company, to help keep you brand loyal to riding their product?
So my answer to that would be just for Harley to stick to its roots and not forget the rider, which is, from all of the things we've heard in the past, is that Harley Davidson, this new leadership and everything, is wanting to come back to the rider. They want to, not forget the rider in moving forward with the brand. Do I think that the, lifestyle brand is bad? No. But do I think it maybe ran away from them? Could have. I don't think every house needs Harley Davidson coasters on the coffee table, or, the Harley Davidson clothing that is now just stylish and part of, fashion for streetwear. Okay, whatever. But hey, if that gets somebody to come into a dealership and then they realize and start sitting on a bike, and it's somebody's like, dude, I've always liked motorcycles, but I've never rode. Hey, that's awesome, because that's just going to continue to grow the brand and make sure the legacy carries on. But what I really want is Harley Davidson to stick true to its roots and come back to its roots, which is racing, riders, development, stepping forward, taking bikes, still making leaving room for bikes to be upgraded and make it your own, still offer, everything you can think of. But like, keep the motorcycle that you have and keep going with that. I don't think we need to see 500 different models of just these random bikes that we were sitting there going, what the heck is this market for? Yeah, they might sell a couple of them, but okay. But hey, we have our flagship, Road Glide, Street Glide. You've got those two options in a bagger. Do you like a fixed fairing, or do you like a, moving fairing? There's your choices with that frame. You've got your Lowrider S's and Lowrider STs for the small bike frame, and those are great bikes and fun bikes. That's awesome. Now you've got the Nightster. You're going to stick with the Fat Boys, your Heritage is. There is some models like that I would love to see come back. Like, I'd love to have another Softail Slim or something. You know, you've still got the Street Bob. That's awesome. But another thing is, you know, I would love to see packages. You know, before the 23.5 and 24 bottles, you had this, you know, with your baggers, you had the special or just the regular, and the special, you know, gave you stretched bags compared to not having the stretched bags that wrapped around your exhaust and stuff like that. But not necessarily saying that's just all it should be, but it's the difference of, you know, we're having the new Solo come on, the introduction of the Solo. I would love to see a little
like a
more.
Street Glide Solo.
Road Glide Solo, the Street Glide Solo that comes in at a lower price range.
Solo seat.
Yeah, solo seat. Yeah, a little bit less of the creature features on it. I would love to see them run with that. And if you had more models that come in on the same bike, putting the same bike at different price points, you know, offering more colors than just that gray in the Solo, I think they could take that and run with it. And for me as a young rider who doesn't have endless amounts of funds to, you know, put into a brand new bike, or may not necessarily want to run out and buy a brand new bike for that price point, but have something to look forward to, I would love to see them take that and run with it. But for that, they're going to have to keep the rider in mind and not go full corporate America on us.
Well,
you know,
you used to have Electric Glide.
Yeah.
And then you had the Street Glide, which same fairing.
Yeah.
The Electric Glide didn't have a radio.
No.
It didn't have a couple of the other creature features. It was a couple $1,000s less.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where the Solo can enter the market, and I think there's a lot of room for growth there. Question. You are a generation of having an iPhone in your hand, a touch screen in your car. Does all the tech, do you require all the touchscreen infotainment and all that? Do you require that on your bike? Is that something that is a deterrent? Now, I believe that it's here to stay.
Yeah.
I think once you open that Pandora's box, because Harley Davidson owners, we're our own worst enemy. We want all these bells and whistles and all this performance and all these safety features, and then we want it to be cheaper than anything we've ever paid before.
Yeah.
And that stuff costs money.
Yeah.
But do you require that? I mean, we're guys coming, we both have analog gauges on our Dynas.
Yeah, me personally, I'm coming from a spec where I've got an analog speedometer, no tack, on my Street Bob. And I don't necessarily need that. My bike does not have ABS, but I had the first round of fuel injection. I believe in fuel injection. I like fuel injection. But this is coming to where I'm saying that I wish they would run with those packages. Yeah, ABS is here to stay. And I have no hatred on that. It's got, you know, there's proven science behind that. And whatnot. But this is where I'm saying those packages would be awesome for them to run with. Me, like you said, coming from the generation that has grown up with the technology here now and everything like that, iPhones, everything. No, I don't see the need for every little piece of technology in there. Now, is there a great, space for it to be, hey, this package has this and it's $1,000 less than this package, but it has all of this. Hey, that's a great idea because I don't know that I need this, and that on it, but I do want a radio with the speakers, but I don't know that I need the full-blown navigation with everything in it because that's not going to be the style of ride. See, that's where I'm saying the packages could come great, but also not to make it to where it's like, oh man, I bought the wrong bike and I should have just spent that. Make it to where the motor company can readily accept, make that bike accept that.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, you're seeing that in cars like right now. This package has this, where this package has a little bit more, but is it worth it to most people? No.
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing that in vehicles. Why not bring that to the motorcycle world? Because I just went through this buying a car, and I didn't need everything that I want, that some of these had, and I ended up finding the one that fits me, and it met every box I wanted. And it's still not the top of the line, and I saved $20,000.
Yeah.
So why not bring that idea and that marketing into this? And I'm just hoping to see, as a young rider, with the technology is here to stay. It's going to keep, going up. That's going to come with a price. I don't think it needs to be offered on every single thing. I mean, and I would like to say that I am not the only one that has that idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a great opinion piece. Like, you're used to pulling on a car dealership lot and every available option in every available color be sitting there in dealer inventory. And it used to not be that way with Harley Davidson. You went in and there was a red heritage Softail. There was a blue Street Glide or Electric Glide. There was a Fat Boy. There might have been 10 bikes total in some of these dealerships. And if you were like, man, I'm looking for that blue one, well, you were going to order it.
Yeah.
They weren't going to dealer find it for you. They were going to say, we can order that. We got another shipment coming in. It'll be about 6 months. I mean, I remember when guys ordered Harley Davidson. My friends' dads bought Harley Davidsons. It could have been 16, 18 months before their bike come in. Or they would call them and say, hey, I know you've ordered this silver one, but we had a black one delivered, and that guy doesn't want it anymore. Do you want to come and get it? And they would go down and buy that bike and then be like, well, keep my silver one coming, and when it comes in, I'll come trade this one in, or I'll sell it off, and I'll come get that one too. Because they had friends who were waiting on them, and they would just turn around and sell them to them.
Yeah.
But is your generation one that would go into a Harley dealership with limited inventory?
I think those days are gone. I think people are now, the way it is, and the way the world works now is, hey, go here. If they got it, then I'm going to get it. If they don't, I'll come back next week. I think that's just the world we live in, pre-ordering or ordering that with such a long wait time. I don't see that working. I mean, look at some of the vehicles that have just done that and how many people asked for their money back after they had to wait longer than 6 months,
But you're trying to bring, the rumor is they're trying to bring all manufacturing back to the United States.
Yeah.
Great start for an American heritage company.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the deal. American labor usually costs a little more than in some third world countries or more underdeveloped countries where the salaries of the workers are less. So say you don't have to wait a year to order your bike, but you go in and you say, hey man, I really want this Street Glide, or I want this Road Glide, but I don't need navigation. Which at this point, like, aren't you paying like $500 to activate navigation? You have CarPlay on your phone. It'll do maps. It'll do Waze.
Yeah.
You can buy a $10 adapter on Amazon and bypass a $600 piece of technology.
Yeah.
So you can save money there if you want to, if that option still stands. But say you walk into the dealership and there is a black Road Glide and you're like, man, I want the Thunder Teal and black, and I want it in black finish, and I'd like to have, and you go over and there's a board, and you're like, I want this paint, I want these bars, I want these wheels, and they're like, great, we'll just order that. Those parts are sitting at the factory, they're stamped and ready to go, that bike's ready to be assembled, maybe even those tins are painted, and then they assemble that, ship it out, comes to Xander, you go pick it up, but it took a month to come in.
I don't think that I don't think that would kill that. People that
can keep business expense down,
yes.
and you don't have dealers having to have all this inventory sitting on the floor that they can't move, and then people are begging for these deep discounted bikes and things. I think motorcycles, as much as we want them to be our own, I think having them ready to be assembled, maybe you go in and the one you want's on the floor and you buy that.
We need that.
Fine.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe they have a couple of those in crates in the back and they're ready to sell those. Yeah. That's fine. If you want to buy this floor model, it's $1,000 off. But if you want us to order it, hey,
you're going to have
it keeps dealers with rolling inventory. I mean, we've said this before, there was a time when dealers had to have so much inventory, like especially Japanese dealers and stuff, and they were having like 2 and 3 year old model bikes sitting on their showroom, but they were made to have all this inventory to keep their dealership status. I mean, that's tough. These dealerships can't stay open like that. Now, any part of any company has parts of the company that makes them money and parts of the company that cost them money. Like, you can have the fanciest dealership in the world, and selling XYZ widgets makes you all your money. But you're paying somebody to come in there at night and clean the building. You're paying somebody to keep the parking lot clear. You're paying somebody to wash those cars or detail them before they go out the door. You're paying mechanics to sit back there and do oil changes or warranty work. And I know the dealership gets some of that money, gets that money back, and that you got to take care of people. One, Harley Davidson has to return to customer service first. We got to take care of the guy in the door. The most important person is the person right in front of you. It's not the guy that called and made an appointment and is coming in at 3 o'clock to look at a bike. Hey, I'm going to be in the area in 3. You have a responsibility to that guy. But if a guy walks in, that's priority number 1 right now. Yeah. And if he's like, hey man, I want to buy this bike, you're like, hey, love to sell you that bike, but this guy's coming. And if he's already called and made an appointment to see this bike, if he doesn't want it, we'll sell it to you. Yeah. There's a responsibility there. But hey, I can get you this bike. We got another one in the back to be put together. And if that's the case, you sell that guy and you tell him to get the other one put together for the guy coming at 3, if it's the same color and thing. But if it
ain't ready when he's there, hey, we're putting it together right now. Come with me and I'll show you what's going on. Yes. We're putting the bars on right now. Right. That needs to be there. I don't think a dealership has to have 150 bikes where it's 3 of every model in every color. I don't think you need that. But what I think, and those dealerships are great. I think there should be a couple of them in your bigger areas that move a lot of motorcycles. But the average dealership in the average town or the average area of the United States, at least, especially this is coming from our view that we have of the state of West Virginia. A dealership that ain't the biggest is going to, I think it needs to have 1 of every model. Maybe a second one to give you like 2 different colors to look at, but hey, there's other colors. Maybe the baggers, because they sell a lot more than the other models. Maybe you have 1 of those in every color. Maybe you don't have a road glide in every color and a street glide in every color, but hey, you've got a couple different road glides, a couple different street glides showing the colors, because then you can still look and be like, I like that color, but you have it on the road glide, but I'm wanting it on the street glide. Well, hey, you've got a visual for what it's going to look like. The difference is going to be the front, the fairing. And that guy looks at you and says, hey, this is at the factory. It can be here in a month. We can order it for you. Great. But also, like you said, guy walks in, just so happens that's the exact bike he's looking for on the floor model. Gone. Hey, we can get this to you. It's been sitting here for a month. I can get this to you for a little bit cheaper. Yeah. And I'm with you, because that could keep the cost down because, hey, they don't have to keep that bike on the floor and put it there. It's at the factory. All it needs is assembled.
Yeah.
And hey, we put this order in. We've got they call, send it off. This order, get that bike assembled. Boom, it's ready to go. Ship it, and your guy comes in and picks it up, and he's out the door.
You've got market analysis to know what colors sell better in what areas, what bright bikes roughly move better in what areas of the country, of the world. I don't see, if Daytona Beach, if Teddy Morris down at Destination Daytona sells 100 touring bikes a month, he doesn't need 10 Nightsters sitting on the floor.
No, but should he have two?
Should he have one or two? Yeah. But I'm with you. I'm with you about if you're going to have the bikes, you should have a Road Glide in chrome trim, a Road Glide in dark trim. Whatever paint. Street Glide, chrome trim, Street Glide, dark trim. And if you're a dealer and you move more and you think, hey, I need to independently order myself more inventory, that's your choice as a dealer.
Yes.
That shouldn't be handed down to you from corporate.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with that.
Here's another thing. If this dealership over here it doesn't sell but 8 to 10 bikes a month, but it does tremendous amount of work in its shop, in the mechanics area. It's the best mechanic Harley Davidson dealer in, in
100 miles.
In 100 miles or 300 miles for guys.
Yes.
They'll bypass their dealership that's local to come to yours to get the mechanic work done. But that guy doesn't sell many brand new bikes.
That might not be his focus.
That guy's inventory is probably going to be, I'll get some to get people in and look, but his inventory need is different than Teddy Morse that might sell 1,000 motorcycles during Daytona Bike Week.
Yeah. He knows what's paying his bills. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's the thing. Go back to taking care of dealers that take care of people. Customer service matters.
Yes.
I don't care if you have 500 leather jackets. My life is not going to change with my third leather jacket that says Harley Davidson on it.
I'm with you.
If
I see a cool T-shirt, hey, you had a new T-shirt from corporate come out. They launched new shirts. Hey, I see that. Dang, it's on sale or something. I might grab it and pick it up and walk out with it because I'm just in there while I'm waiting for a simple thing to be done to my bike or something like that.
I love Harley Davidson clothes. I love hats. That's my jam. I'm not going to spend $500 or $600 on a leather jacket just because it says Harley Davidson. I love the company.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't imagine how many storage linear or square feet are unsold coffee mugs.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 2 coffee mugs that say Harley Davidson. One I bought at the museum because that was a destination trip for us. Yeah. One somebody bought me as a Christmas present. I use them all the time, but I don't need 20.
No.
And I understand it may cost you $2 to make it, and you can sell it for $15 or $20. But you don't need 10 coffee mugs. Bikes are what Harley Davidson was built on. And I'm pretty sure that the margin for profit is better on a coffee cup than a motorcycle, probably. If you're selling that motorcycle for $30,000, it probably costs you $22 to $25 to make it. By the time you have materials, shipping, fuel, labor, insurance, fees, deliveries, whatever, you may have $22,000 in a bike hitting a dealership, and that dealership's going to have to make some money. So the markup is $30. Well, they've had to buy it if they've bought them from Harley, and I don't know, the MSRP might be what the dealer paid minus a little bit or whatever.
Yeah.
So every dealership has its own fees to adjust its margin. I get it. But I can't believe every $40 t-shirt you buy from Harley Davidson that's a destination t-shirt cost $40 to make. It didn't. It cost $8 to $10. I mean, we can print hundreds of t-shirts with our logo of Bikers and Backroads on them. And I might have $6 to $8 in every t-shirt.
Yeah.
So
if you would like those, let me know.
Yeah, if you're interested in some Bikers and Backroad merch, we're actually discussing that going into the first part of next year. We are kicking around some hats and some t-shirts, maybe even some hoodies. And again, if you want some stickers, hit me up. Send us your address. We'll send you some out. But anyway.
Private message, though. We can do that private message. Yeah. Just put that out there.
Yeah, you can send it to us. You can comment. That's fine. If you drop us a comment, we read every comment.
Yeah.
You want some stickers?
We'll get them to you.
Send us an address. We'll send them out to you. But anyway, the whole thing about what we need the motor company to get back to. When I grew up, Harley Davidson was about a motorcycle. It did have a little bit of a bad boy image. And then they started coming out with all the dressers, and you saw people's grandpas riding them, and older guys, and guys I grew up with's dads having bikes. And I knew those guys weren't outlaws or rebels or anything. Harley Davidson just became more of a society brand. They've always been a family company. They've always been that type of roots and things. But, I mean, when you first got into racing, if you look at their history, racing was kind of frowned upon. And they got out of the motordrome racing because of some injuries and deaths that were happening, and they didn't want their name to be associated with that. That's when they became very dominant and raced on the flat track, because in their eyes, they viewed that as safer with a little bit of risk. And they realized the importance of racing to help develop product, put their product in front of eyes of lots of spectators. Because at that time, you had very few dealers, and they might have 2 or 3 bikes in their showroom. And it might have been one from last year and one from this year, and they may have been 2 different colors. You know, and then Harley introduces the color wheel, where you can order Harley Davidson of any color as long as it was on that color palette, and they would paint any color at the factory during the Depression and things when people couldn't spend money on Harley Davidsons and things. Let's be honest, economically, there's not a lot of guys that have exposable or you know, expendable income. It's going to expose you financially, but the expendable or disposable income to go out and buy a $30,000 motorcycle every couple years. And when I was growing up, it seemed like a lot more guys would have a bike for a couple years, and then they'd show up and they'd have a newer bike. And it would last them a couple years, and it would run fine, and they'd go get a different bike. I worked over in southern West Virginia for a few years, and I had a guy that was a coal miner, and he was my patient on and off for probably 10 years. And I think he had 4 new Harleys. And it would just, I like this new color. And he'd just go, he wouldn't lose his rear end trading his bike in, and he would just buy that next one. And I think at the price points of today's motorcycle, that's a little harder. Because we've made it all about so many different things. So that's me, and we've hashed out a few things. So just to sum this up, one thing you just want, and you've laid out a couple great ideas, and I don't think that a lot of people think like you do, like young people do. We think of things the way we've always had them. I dread the day you walk into a Harley dealership and they have one bike. And if you don't want that one, then you're ordering one and waiting years. I think manufacturing's better than that now. I don't think that would be the case. But if you had to go in and you sat down and you said, I want this bike with this color and these wheels, and they told you it could be there in 6 weeks, 30 days to 6 weeks, if it could keep costs down, if it could drive the price of bikes down, I would be into that. Now, that being said, back to you. Your eyes, motor company, what's one big thing you just want to see happen. What do you feel? You educate yourself to the history of Harley Davidson, and we talk about that. You're not coming at this blind or just looking at it without any part of the history. What do you feel Harley Davidson has done poorly in the past couple years, even as you've seen, or one thing you want to see them return to undo something that has been wrong, in your opinion?
If you are a fan of Harley Davidson, then you like motorcycles. So let's just go back to being the company that loves and makes motorcycles, that sells to people that love and ride motorcycles. But let's also be a company that rides, and let's be a culture that enjoys and has a little bit of heart and mind into the product we're buying, riding, and loving. So let's just make it about motorcycles again. Let's not feed corporate America down our throats. Let's not worry about, I know there's got to be numbers and quotas that have to be met to make it profitable, but let's not make it an all numbers, quotas, percentages game. Let's just make it motorcycles, riding, some clothing to represent a brand that you like, but let's just get back to motorcycles and loving motorcycles and loving riding.
Yeah. I have three things, and one of these is, I don't want anybody to confuse us with what we're trying to do here. But first, I'm going to say, let's make it about the motorcycle again. It started out in a shed building a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Let's make the baddest motorcycles we can make.
Yeah.
As cost effective as we can make, to allow people to make them their own and support them. T-shirts and clothing don't build a culture.
No.
Riders and people that have like interests build a culture.
Yeah. And are we going to buy and wear the T-shirts?
Yes.
Yes.
But at the same time, I want every dealership to treat everybody that walks in the door the same. If I pull up in an $80,000 truck and walk in there and the guy's like, oh, that guy's got money, and I get this special treatment, and a guy over there that has scraped and saved his pennies, and worked his tail off to buy his first Harley Davidson, he's no different. They're guys who love motorcycles, and they're coming in there to buy a motorcycle. They're the same.
Yeah.
Customer service matters. Nobody's better than. Nobody is less than. There's people that have just done it before and people who are trying to do it now, right? And my last thing is that we just need to go about this and quit worrying about everybody trying to be an influencer. We love doing this podcast. These are conversations we would have. We record it. We put it out there on an audio thing because we love talking about motorcycles. But we both consume a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
And we have our favorites. But I'm kind of getting tired of the guy who gets his free bike from Harley every year and rides around the country on corporate sponsorships for a year, telling me everything I should buy for my bike because it's who pays his bills or her bills or whoever. And I'm not saying that some of that content isn't 100% accurate, but that isn't a lifestyle for most of us. Most of us work jobs, have families, and I'm not saying anything negative, and if I get some hate, we'll talk about it. But if we're going to come back to making it about the motorcycle and about the riders, it can't be about influencers, and it can't be about people who are chasing views. It can't be about people who are feeding you garbage because that's the company, an aftermarket company that's paying their bills and sending them everything for free. I'm of the opinion of if it don't cost you something, it's probably not worth anything.
Yeah. I'm
happy to pay for things that I have. I love supporting companies that I think are worth supporting. I'm happy to have bought my Saddleman seat. If Saddleman gave me a discount or something on my next seat, I wouldn't be upset. But I'm not going to sit here and say, if they gave me a free one and I thought it was not good, I would send it back or I would make that statement. But so far, I love everything that I've put on my bike. We always are buying stuff. And I mean, I've bought some tools that I didn't like, and we've upgraded from that. I'm not saying anything about that. I've had brands of vehicles I won't ever buy again. Mm-hmm. But I want it to be about riding. I want it to be about people that hang out with like-minded folks and ride. When you turn on Harley Homecoming videos and you see all the average people that are up there, but then you see the meet and greet tents from content creators and things like that. And I'm not bashing because I watch a lot of that stuff. But I don't know that level of a marketing plan appeals to the average rider. I don't think Harley Davidson being built, when they built their first motorcycle, I think they were excited if anybody bought them. And the first guy that became a dealer for them ended up on their board of directors. Mm-hmm. They were loyal. I don't know that they were looking for the most influential person of the time to put him on a Harley Davidson. Now, throughout the years, Elvis Presley rode a Harley, his picture's up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type of thing. But
don't make it about that, but hey, honor that.
I don't know that you need all the... And again, I've heard this from other people, and you know, Drew hits this and talks on Rolling Throttle because, I mean, I really think their passion is for just building a riding community and things like that. But even when you watch this stuff, and now that we do what we do and we look for info and things to talk about, and you just see that some people's information is spoon-fed. Like, it's just handed to them to deliver the dialogue and show this lifestyle, and it's not conducive to a lot of how most of us live our lives because we have other responsibilities, and motorcycling is something we have to carve out time to do for ourselves so that we can get the most and enjoy it. We don't get to just wake up and ride 250 miles and go and look at that town and then ride 500 miles because it's been paid for by a corporate entity that is trying to encourage people to, hey, ride some miles and log them so we can donate to charity. The whole premise behind that is fantastic. The ride challenge was great. Let's donate money for charity. Let's encourage all these people to ride. And people that rode and donated and got their money, great. If you're Harley Davidson, I'm still waiting on my challenge coin to show up for my 1,000 miles I logged. But at the same time, the people that took off for 6 months last year from life, mm-hmm. and just rode around and filmed and had a great time, and kudos for being able to do that. That's not my life. That's not my lifestyle. That is definitely a blessing for them to be able to do that, but I don't seek that at all. I'm very fulfilled with my life. Mm-hmm. I'm fulfilled with what we do. I'm fulfilled for if I get 30 minutes to ride, I'm going to go ride. But I think we need to get back to that being the culture than people trying to force feed you information that we have called marketing, and let the bikes sell themselves. Let word of mouth of people who are buying them that say, hey, this is good or this is garbage, affect the sales and drive to make a product better. I think that's where I would like to see Harley Davidson go. I'm proud to ride their brand. I love my bike. But I think there's no other company that is being begged to go back to, let's make it about the rider and about the motorcycle like Harley Davidson is. And I just think that it's because the family of Harley Davidson riders are just different. Mm-hmm. I really look at that, and I hope that brand and that loyalty is around for you I hope we ride for many, many years and decades together, and our grandkids and all that stuff when that time comes. I hope I'm still excited for the brand of Harley Davidson. Mm-hmm. The product of the motorcycle is fine, and it's so adjustable and so customizable. You can make it what you want. But I don't want to be one of those guys that takes the badges off of it because I'm not proud to support it.
Yeah.
And they don't care who I am in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. I understand that. But that's where I'm coming from is I've seen the change. I've seen them kind of abandon the rider. And then I've seen where they've tried to make everything mainstream. And I don't know that motorcycling's mainstream. I don't know that it should be as frowned upon as outlaw, but it's not for everybody. Mm-mm. You know, I'm not going to own a Lamborghini. I'm not. I don't have the money. I don't have the funds. I don't have the desire. That's just total different realm for me. And if you have one, great. Come take me for a ride. I'm great. But that's just where I am. I don't relate a lot with all the content creators and influencers that nowadays. I mean, it's becoming very market driven.
Yeah.
Marketing driven. And I hate that. I hope they're really enjoying it as much as they appear to be. I enjoy doing this. And I'm going to enjoy if we video a little bit today going out and putting some stuff out there. But I'm not ever looking to sell myself out to just think I've arrived in a motorcycle company. I'd rather just ride motorcycles and enjoy people I like hanging out with.
I agree.
You got it?
I'm with you.
Well, take us home, big guy, and we'll get out of here.
Well, guys, thanks for listening into this very in-depth conversation, but that's all for today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Remember, we're on anywhere that you can get a podcast. And if you're watching us right now and you can see me, you've already found us on YouTube. But if you ain't, we're there. And there's going to be some videos coming up soon, hopefully on that. You know, we've got YouTube Shorts. We're on TikTok, Bikers and Backroads. All of our socials are Bikers and Backroads, but Twitter or X, whichever you call it, is B&B podcast or B_B_pod. Yes. And then, but we appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment. Tell us what your thoughts are. If you want a sticker, let us know and we'll get with you and get you some stickers. Let us know if you'd be interested in some Bikers and Backroads merchandise, shirts or hats or something. That's something we've tossed around the thought of. But we appreciate y'all, and that's all for today. We'll holler at you later.
You riders, be safe and be blessed. We'll talk to you later.